There's this particular kind of mind. It's one where the problem isn't a lack of answers. Not at all. The real suffering comes from having far, far too many possibilities.
And the very same part of your mind that's so good at protecting you from mistakes, it's also the thing that prevents you from ever really feeling at peace.
It's sort of like moving through life as if it's one long, unending chess game. Every interaction, every choice is a move that needs to be calculated. And from the outside, people see this as a strength, right? They see someone who notices the details, who can anticipate what's coming next. They might even call you wise. But inside, it doesn't feel like wisdom. It just feels tiring. It's this quiet, profound exhaustion from a brain that simply refuses to switch off. And all this analysis, it doesn't feel like a hobby or some intellectual game. It feels like a duty, a weight. Because that's the thing, the overthinking doesn't even register as anxiety. It just feels like responsibility. Your responsibility, specifically, to get things right and make sure nothing goes wrong. So every little decision you have to make isn't just one choice. It branches out into a whole web of potential outcomes, and you feel this deep need to walk down every single one of those paths in your head. In every single conversation, it gets replayed over and over. You analyze the tone, what you said, what you should have said. It feels like every possible future requires its own specific, detailed plan, just in case. And eventually you start to realize this isn't just curiosity. It's a defense mechanism, a really, really smart defense mechanism. It's your intelligence working overtime to protect your feelings. And the real cost of all this isn't that you get stuck and can't make a decision. The real tragedy is the distance it creates, a distance from what's happening right now. It's like, while everyone else is in the conversation, you're observing it. While other people are just feeling an emotion, you're busy evaluating it, naming it, trying to understand it. You become an analyst of your own life instead of a participant. And man, that can be a lonely place to be. But then, quietly, a little crack starts to appear in that logic. Not because of some huge failure, but just from the sheer exhaustion of it all. You start to notice that the decisions you spent weeks agonizing over, they didn't really turn out any better than the ones you made quickly. Those conversations you practiced in your head, they never felt more authentic in the moment. And that feeling of peace you were chasing, the one you thought you'd get if you could just figure everything out, it just never shows up. And that's when the real question hits you. What if all this thinking isn't creating clarity? What if it's just fear? A deep, profound fear of just not knowing what will happen next. And in that question, there's a new possibility. Not another one to analyze, but one you can actually feel. It's the feeling of just letting go, of surrender. And you realize that feeling safe was never about solving every puzzle. Real emotional safety, it turns out, comes from learning to be okay with the uncertainty. Just tolerating it. The first few times you try it, just making a choice without mapping it all out, it feels totally reckless. Then after a bit, it just feels unfamiliar. And then something really strange happens. It starts to feel like a relief, a huge relief. And it becomes so clear. The peace you were looking for was never, ever going to be found in the answers. It was there all along, just waiting for you to accept that not every single path has to be explored. Not every what if needs a solution. Because some moments, they don't need to be analyzed or prepared for. They just need to be lived.